Hello, my name is Sean Smith. I'm a faculty member here at the University of Kansas, and I want to share with you the Write System, or the Writing Classroom, a project that we've developed here at the University of Kansas. It was developed to assist teachers supporting struggling writers and those with disabilities. It's something that teachers that we've worked with, especially at the middle school level, have used across their students, but particularly targeting those that struggle and their peers with disabilities. It's organized into three different areas: progress monitoring, effective technology solutions, and effective writing interventions that we've organized under writing challenges that I'll get to here in just a moment. To give a brief overview, let me start with progress monitoring, because that's where we believe this begins in terms of this process. And when we talk about that, and that is what we feel teachers need to start with, what they understand about where the students struggle, and then connect with what they're struggling in with the effective technology and writing intervention. Now, we know teachers collect data in a variety of different ways about writing: observation, informal writing assessments, formal writing assessments. Well, to add to that, we created a progress monitoring system that teachers can use for free. They can load their entire class, they can load classes, they can load just certain students into the system and allow for progress monitoring to take place on a periodic basis. Our use of this has been every 2 weeks, where students sign in like an Amber Roland. They would be provided directions about what they're about to do, and then they would be given a prompt. And here's a prompt that comes out of a prompt library, and they'd be given a minute to look at this prompt. Now, our prompts cover persuasive, expository, argumentative, and narrative. Our prompts were developed by some master teachers, then reviewed by classroom teachers, and reviewed by experts in progress monitoring assessment for writing. And the purpose here is to allow for the student to get a sense of what the prompt is, make sure it's content neutral, and that it's actually a section about writing, not about their knowledge. And of course, the prompts are there with directions, and the directions and prompts have a audio here.
Based on the story start.
So they can actually listen to the prompt as well as the directions. And the way we've structured things, and the way teachers have been using this, and we've had teachers use this with thousands of students, the way it's structured is that they take a look at this for a minute, and then it automatically moves them into an area, just like that basically gives the prompt, gives the text box, and now gives them a 3-minute writing area. Why 3 minutes? That was dealt with our national board, giving us that information about that would be typical. And the way teachers have used this is generally about every 2 weeks. They'll have students sign in, they'll have students type what they want, and as they type, you can see it doesn't offer any type of spell check. Instead, it just simply type what it is the individual is able to type and share. And then at the end of the 3 minutes, mid-sentence, mid-letter, mid-word, or the student is actually finished writing, it will automatically move the child away from the site. It will simply say done, and the child will no longer be able to write. They close up and they move on to whatever they're doing instructionally for that day. Now, for the teacher, and I will just simply close out of this, for the teacher, they automatically get access to their student. And this is a made-up class of just a handful of students, so it's not exactly what you would see with all your classes. But basically what you are able to see per student is what they wrote, and you're able to see it charted out into a graph format. So for example, we'll back up here and we'll take a look at Bruce Wayne, and yes, this is very silly looking data, but again, this was made up for more from illustration purposes. But you'll see that you'll be able to see every data point when it was taken. You'll see how it's ranked within how they did with the rest of their class. And so you'll see that initially 10th to 25th percentile, so Bruce is someone we might want to focus in on. And with that data, we can click on the data point and take a look at what they actually typed, and this time Bruce didn't type too much, what the actual prompt was, and then it records numbers of words, letters, correctly spelled, and sequence. So again, just some of the data that you would need for understanding where your student is, but this is something that would regularly be tracked, regularly that you could use. Again, teachers are using it every 2 weeks, and it would be automatically scored, no typing, no scoring on your part, and then automatically available for you for review across classes. So pretty nifty little deal. Now, once you have this information from about where the student's needs, along with the other information you've been collecting on your students' writing, what we've tried to do is we've tried to tie together technology interventions and writing interventions to allow for a teacher to understand, oh, I have this technology I want to use, And I know some of the basics, but I don't know how to tie it over to this strategy. Or I'm trying to do this strategy, and I know it needs to be complemented with writing. Now, you don't need to be a one-to-one district, although we're working with those. You could be on carts, you could be a lab, it doesn't matter. And let's not start with the technology solution, let's start with a writing challenge. So for example, let's start with the fact that, I'm finding my students are having difficulty with organization. Well, what we've done is we've tried to tie together basically strategies. In this instance, it's the DARE strategy with an actual technology that they can use to allow for that type of support, that type of connection. So let me get started here, and you'll see what we introduce here. And I have it on mute, so it's not over talking what I'm saying, but basically we introduce the idea, and then we introduce the fact that we're going to tie it with DARE and something called Inspiration, which is an interactive graphic organizer. And as the learner goes through, what they're initially introduced to, the teacher, is initially introduced to is a strategy. Now, our purpose isn't to teach the strategy. We expect that either the teachers are understanding that the writing strategies they're trying to use, or if we're introducing something here, like for example, okay, I'm introducing you to DARE, we're giving you additional resources if you really want to go in depth in this type of intervention. But we have enough information that you know what DARE is, and then what we do is we tie it over to the technology. And on the technology side, we're not trying to teach you all the ins and outs of the technology. There's some nice videos for that elsewhere on YouTube and the website for the different technology. Our purpose is to show you, well, if you're trying to use a strategy for persuasive writing, DARE would be perfect. And if you're trying to connect it over to a technology, the interactive graphic organizer would help as well. And so in doing so, we're trying to combine the elements and kind of walking you through what that might look like. And again, this is for us to be better comfortable for that connection to then work with our students. Now, let's go down to the hamburger strategy here, and you'll see the same idea. Well, it'll be introduced the same way, and then we'll get over to the hamburger, and we'll introduce the elements of the hamburger, very simple strategy. And then we'll talk here about, again, this is an interactive graphic organizer. We're using Inspiration, but a different way of using Inspiration to make connection to the elements of this strategy to the technology. And there's different elements of the technology we'll be introducing here. Now, you can also go in through the technology solution. So for example, if you want to go in through something called word prediction, and we use Co-Writer Universal for that, we'll do the same thing. We'll tie the technology with a strategy specific to a need. But here we've entered in the fact that we're trying to use word prediction. We know our students are increasing the quantity of writing through word prediction, and we're trying to tie it better to some strategies to improve the quality of writing as well. And so here we go, same idea. It will introduce the concept, and in this instance it basically will introduce, this is in a social studies classroom, and inside the social studies classroom it'll contextualize tree, and so we'll do it with analysis here, and we'll get into, we'll get into the tree here sooner or later, and there we go. So it breaks it down tree the same way, but it's contextualized it within an assignment within social studies. And it walks, again, the teacher through what the intervention is, and then how to use the intervention with the technology. In this instance, it's Co-Writer Universal. Excuse me, in this instance, yeah, it's Co-Writer Universal, which is a word prediction software. And there you see tree being used with that word prediction at the same time. All right, so overall, the Writing Classroom or Project Write or the Write system is created to assist struggling learners and those with disabilities in improving their writing, where teachers have access to data about what they're doing and then can tie that data that's identifying a potential challenge to a technology solution and an effective writing intervention based on a writing challenge. Our hope in sharing this with you is there might be interest in using this project, using this product in some of your writing. And so what we've done is we'd like you to reach out to us. We have a study that we'd like you to assist us in if there's interest. There's honorariums to support teachers in their work on this. And we'd welcome teachers reaching out to us to get better clarity, better understanding of what this project does, better clarity about how potentially it might help you and your students, and simply appreciate the time to be able to offer this overview. Thank you.